moment. Millions of Aussies are in lockdown, thousands of businesses on economic life support, and the Delta variant outbreaks causing it all are only getting bigger. The plan now is to vax our way out of restrictions, and yet there's a stockpile of 6 million unused AstraZeneca vaccines, enough to fully vaccinate 3 million Aussies, or 12% of the population.
The demand for AstraZeneca is falling off and has been for a while. Over 60s are seeming to be hesitant. I've heard up in Queensland some doctors are worried about expiring AstraZeneca doses.
It's no secret that AstraZeneca has had a PR problem, an extremely rare blood clotting side effect made for juicy headlines and caused yo-yoing official health advice.
People's perception of the risk is grossly inflated by all of this reporting, and I think also that people's perception of the benefits of how well that vaccine works are perhaps still an underestimate.
The impact of the uncertainty is measurable. Government research has found that 15% of unvaccinated Aussies won't get their shots until their preferred vaccine, Pfizer, is easily available. Alarmingly, in the high-risk over 70s age group, it's 25%.
When we look at the clinical trials overall, and particularly now the real-world experience involving millions and millions of people that have received that vaccine, the efficacy is probably in the vicinity of the high 80s in terms of percentage. So we know that vaccine is highly safe and highly effective.
After the PM's announcement on Thursday,
we will be moving to opening up 16 to 39-year-olds for the balance of the program. We intend for that to commence on the 30th of August.
It's feared more AstraZeneca could go to waste as people increasingly hold out for the incoming Pfizer doses, potentially prolonging a return to something closer to normal life.
I think there's a big risk in waiting. There's a big risk in being unvaccinated and remaining susceptible to this virus that we know is going to keep coming.
For heaven's sake, don't cancel an appointment you've made now off a promise that something's going to be available in 2 weeks' time. We need all of us with a sense of urgency to do everything we can to limit the spread, and getting vaccinated does that.
So, Lisa, you and I are fully vaccinated. Jan, you've had one Astra jab, and Tommy, you've just decided to get AstraZeneca. Why?
I got AstraZeneca on Friday, and it was actually quite a relaxing process, the whole thing. I went in and I sat there and I got the jab, and then I went home, and for the next 24 hours I went, am I clotting? Am I clotting? Am I clotting? Am I clotting? Am I going to clot? Am I going to die? So it was great, guys. I'd really recommend it.
But just in terms of, like, getting to the decision point, right, because there's been different advice, how are you feeling about, OK, I've stepped forward, I've made the decision, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, I was happy. I weighed up what I thought were the risks and benefits, and I was happy to get the AstraZeneca jab. I am pretty pissed off at the government over their messaging over it. They were saying that the health advice was still, if you were under 40, they weren't recommending that we get AstraZeneca, but then in the same breath telling us to go out and get vaccinated, where in my part of the country that was the only vaccine available to people under 40. So I found the whole process frustrating, and I feel like I wish the government would stop putting it on the general public and saying, you know, you guys are not following restrictions properly and that's why we're in this situation, or when really the main point is there's so much of us that are willing to get vaccinated and ready to go. Like I always say, Tommy, you always feel better after a good jabbing. Oh, I'm so happy to have him back, bro.
With so much content online, it's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. And let's face it, who has the time? The Project YouTube has you covered with the stories that matter. Hit subscribe for a daily list of the news that you need to know.